able to see it outside of myself and maybe a couple other people. There's another one. And again, you remember I was talking about my influences and the lighting, the style things? This is all very much tailored to that. I'm appeasing my own inner child, basically. And I can't get over how, like it almost makes me want to cry when I see this, because it's coming from a pure part of myself as an artist, of just wanting to create as like a child, and then drawing these drawings, making them, and then being on location, and then having like, it's like, oh, that's my dude, you know, like that's the guy, and it's been a really incredible experience, and chasing your dreams, yeah, it's pretty interesting. So that's Lost Boy. So I can't wait to show you guys all that, and that's I think it's going to be pretty special. So I'm excited to share that eventually once it's done, hopefully end of the year or early next year. And then Learn Squared. Quickly talk about that. I was working with Mitch on a film, and he was doing all this crazy stuff, and I was like, if you were here on Thursday, I kind of explained it, but he was doing all kinds of crazy stuff on the production. I was like, how are you doing all these things? And so we started sharing ideas, and I was like, he was making tutorials, and he was like, hey, you know, you should make tutorials. I'm like, I don't want to make tutorials, I'm too busy. And he was like, well, why don't we build a school, we share each other how we do this, and then we share each other's secrets, and then we make tutorials off it and share with everybody. And I was like, that sounds great. And so that's the birth of Learn Squared, basically. And so, I mean, it's a very short story of that, but here's a bunch of my students' work. This is some stuff from the main title design. It's a lot of fun. Some more of it. This is one of my students, Leo, from a mentorship. He did a great job. It was a lot of fun. The funny thing about this is I said, you know, you can pick any film, and he was like, okay, I'm going to pick the film that nobody would pick because it's so shitty. So it was a good strategy. He picked The Purge. So he picked The Purge, and he did The Purge, and nobody else picked it, and so we had a lot of fun doing that. So here's some more of that, some more style frames and stuff. It was a lot of fun because I love title sequences. I love design. I'm actively doing them on movies. It's a big part of my life and something I enjoy, so I love teaching it. Here's some stuff from the UI design class. This is like one of my students getting really crazy with the Octane. One of my mentors doing some stuff for Coraline. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Just seeing everybody progress and learn some of the stuff that I've learned and teaching it, and seeing the exchange of energy and ideas. This is some stuff from the Prestige that one of my students did as well. It's just a really fun process. Some more UI stuff that I was teaching. Anthony did this stuff. So that's Learn Squared. Going into Collective Podcast, another passion thing. Collective Podcast is something that I've been working on for quite some time. I think a lot of you are people that listen to it. That's awesome. It's been a really interesting journey. It kind of started from me being upset about how, you know, things were happening in the industry, and I wanted to share ideas, and I want to also reach out to people that I admire and share ideas and have a place for people that can't necessarily reach us to have like their voice be heard through us. And so it's been a really interesting process. We took a break from it. I was getting really too busy, but I just started bringing it back. I just had Richard Taylor from WED on there. I had Peter Chung that created Aeon Flux, and we have many more that are coming up. So super excited about the podcast. This is something I got from Vitaly, and I use it. It's pretty fucked up. You guys ready for it? So here we go. I break down my life into weeks. So apparently, based on like the U.S. consensus or whatever, I'm going to live to about 74 or so. Every one of those squares makes up a week. So if you go through here, that's about 4,560 weeks, which is 77 years, 77.8 actually. That's apparently when I'm going to die. So I break that down. This is how much of my life I've used so far. Yeah, that's great. And then, so that's, I'm a little bit older than now, but 33.08 years is about 1,720 weeks. So it's there. So I break down this, is that, and then if I break down when I started working and taking my life seriously, is about 320 weeks ago. There it is. That's my year of pure potential. That's when I actually started taking my life seriously, and since then, so there's that. And that's my life. So it's like, you know, look at how much that is. It's not that much, but what I want to really, what I really want to say about this is that, you know, when I talk about this, a lot of people think I'm morbid and weird. Like, why do you do that? You're weird. My wife, I have a chart in my office, and I mark it off. Like, there's a week, you know. And she's like, this is weird, man. Like, why you got to do that? But what I want to say is, like, you know, when one of those squares, which represents a week, You break that down into a day, and you could find the love of your life, you can find your career, you can find your passion, you can have a child, you can do amazing things in that 1 week. So I don't look at it as, I'm dead or I'm going to die or anything. I'm just very aware of how much time I do have left, and I think it's really important because it's so easy to be like, yeah, I'm going to do that shit tomorrow. It's like, no, I'm doing that shit now because I see this. I don't have much time. Look how much time I have. I'm almost halfway through. So anyways, you should try it. It's really fucked up. So, being inspired, people that I've never met but I admire, Bruce Lee. And I think why I'm talking about this too is I think you should find who inspires you. And Bruce Lee, for me, is just, an amazing person, and I'm bummed that I didn't get a chance to meet him, but he shared his knowledge, he was really open, and he was a badass all through and through life, and he also was a family man, and he had all these different opportunities, and he's great. Young George Lucas, notice I didn't talk about the old George Lucas, but no, young George Lucas is incredible. He was awesome. He was making all kinds of films, THX 1138, American Graffiti, Star Wars, all that kind of awesome stuff. Who knows who this is? Otomo-san created Akira, Domu, so many things. He's a big inspiration for me. I believe, no, I don't think so. I think that might be Tohei. No, I don't think that's Tohei. It might be his son. Who knows who this is? Yeah, Miyazaki-san. Yeah. So if you don't know who this guy is, you really should check him out. He's a great inspiration. Really, really visionary storyteller. Don't sleep on this guy's films. They're incredible. So really, really great. Young Ridley Scott, if you know me personally, you know how much I love Ridley Scott's films, especially in his early career, Alien, Blade Runner. He's just a great visionary. He's a person that really drove great art, and he had a great vision for a lot of things. So Ridley Scott's a big inspiration for me personally. Notice how I'm using all the young guys. Young Steven Spielberg, I don't even need to introduce that guy. Jiro, if you haven't seen a documentary, it's called Jiro Dreams of Sushi. It's really, really inspiring. Really recommend seeing that. I'll just leave it at that. He's a special person. Elon Musk, the guy's fucking boss mode. I mean, literally is just crushing it. Huge inspiration. And he's not necessarily doing anything for me or in the art industry or anything like that, but it doesn't matter because he's a prolific human being, and that's somebody that I really admire because I want to be prolific. I want to be able to do many different things, build a school, direct a film, work with many different people, facilitate different options, and have all these different opportunities of making great work and being really successful in the part of doing it. So Elon Musk is a big inspiration for me. And then lastly, Carl Sagan. And the reason why I'm really inspired by Carl Sagan is he was a very smart person who was able to take very complicated things and explain it to the masses and inspire people. I grew up watching his shows and being inspired. He's one of the people that taught me about how science is really beautiful and it's actually a really unique thing. So he's somebody that I've realized that you just need to have that conduit. He's one of those conduits that I found in my life that opened my mind to opportunities in science and stuff, so he's a big guy, a very important person to me. I read a lot, and I actually listen to a lot of audiobooks too, and a lot of people ask me, like, how do you manage your time and all that stuff, and a lot of these books come into mind. One of them is Eat That Frog. It's a big book that I got from Vitaly, which is like helps you manage your day-to-day, basically. Manage your day-to-day. It's self-explanatory. It's a great book. Good to Great is another really great book. Spark for the Fire. Be Here Now, and then The War of Art. The War of Art, I think, resonates with a lot of people in this room, is about like possible procrastination or not fulfilling your dreams. That book is really great because he personifies the idea of procrastination, and he helps you really identify inside yourself, and everybody would say, like, oh, I'm going to do it tomorrow, or I'm going to do that thing, I'm going to be that person tomorrow, or I'm really jealous, or I'm upset that I'm not that person. But with his book, it really helps you, or helped me understand that, well, it's all on me to find that, and it's up to me to discover that, it's my ability to find what's making me procrastinate and then overcome it. So some lessons learned. This is something that I like to close my talks off with, but number one for me personally is what's helped me is like always stay hungry. Staying hungry is really important. Like literally, life should be the sandwich, and then you should be the girl. Like every day, you should be doing that to life. You should always be hungry. You should always be striving for something new, and I think it's really important. So, staying humble is really important. If you're not humble, then who are you then? You should be realizing that there's always somebody better than you. There's always going to be somebody better than you, either in the past or the future. So be aware of that and be humbled by the idea that you can always learn something from anybody. So, and if you're not, then you're going to be like this guy. That's not me, by the way. That's not me driving the... But if you're not humble, yeah, here it comes. This is the best.
Turn down for what?
I don't think that guy's humble enough. Look at his face. I could just watch this all day. But no, for real. Look at that guy's face though. He thinks he's got it. He's not. He's not humble enough. So yeah. There you go. Yeah, let's give it up for my twin that drives the boat. All right. Always be learning is really important. Don't get stuck in the thing like, oh, I really do this really well. Then if you do this really well, then I'm telling you that the world is so much bigger. So if you're always constantly learning, you're always opening yourself to possibilities. So, this is one of my favorites. But this is me every day, and thankfully I have to learn squared to my students and everybody. But every day I'm like, wow, how did you do that? And I've been using that program for years. I didn't know how did you figure that out? Or, well, 3D Code does that, or Fusion 360 does that, or whatever, but literally, I have this moment almost every day. If I don't, I feel really quite upset. So, stay curious is really important. I think it's really important to constantly be a curious mind. If you're not being curious, I think that you're really missing an opportunity. And I feel like I've felt it in my own self in my career. I felt that, it's easy to be jaded, it is. But if you stay curious, it's really going to help you out. So I don't know why I put this in here, but it's not applicable to staying curious, but maybe it is. Is it curious? I think it's a little curious. This guy, is that Jama? Jama, is this you? Where are you at, Jama? I got you into VR, you big VR porn guy. It is him. Okay, that's enough. Being thankful. I think it's really important to be thankful, there's so many things, whether somebody teaches you a good lesson or a bad lesson in life, it's important to be thankful for them. Because how you take that and how you take the things that your feedback, it's really important. You need to be thankful for things. So, Wayne's World, we're not worthy. This is you in life, thankful for life. Okay, awesome. No entitlement. This is a weird thing that I've been starting to notice, and I try to bite my tongue personally because sometimes I realize that I'm just as guilty of it too. But one of the things I noticed, on internet, people are like, fucking blah, I'm the queen of the world, and nobody wants to read that shit. Hold that stuff to yourself, or complain to your mom or your girlfriend or whatever, or boyfriend. Being entitled sucks, and nobody wants to listen to it, so stop it. And if you don't, I'm going to send Jesse Pinkman over to you, and he's going to say, yeah, okay, so, no, I mean, seriously, nobody likes entitled people. It just sucks, a bunch of princesses out there. So taking risks is really important, I think, hopefully, if you can see through my lessons is that, I took a risk. I went on, did Ghost in the Shell, and I took all this risk of trying different things and working with different people, and I spent some money, and it was a risk, and I also took a risk on the off-title sequence. I think people, when they watched it, they're like, what the fuck is this, But for me, it was more or less me expressing myself, and I took a risk to basically be misunderstood and hated at this huge event in front of all my peers, but I was like, fuck it, who cares? Let's take a risk, so. And then, the most important thing I think that I really hope that you get from this is, you really, no matter who you are, you really need to love your life, and I think it's really important to not only love your life, but love what you do, and I think it needs to feed into everything, love your friends, love your family, love the career that you work on, everything that you build and do. I think it's really important, and if you put that in there, it's very simple advice to blanketly statement this shit to you guys, but I'm serious, if you're passionate about it, I think every other answer kind of comes along from there, so, and so, that I don't know why I put that in there. It's just awesome. I think, yeah, it's good. Let's see it again. So, like, yeah, life is, you're the giraffe, and then life is the titties. Okay, all right. Thanks, guys. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you guys so much. There you go. You can contact me. Yeah. I don't know if, John, you fucked up my presentation time with your 3D coat, so do I have time for questions?
Yeah, do you want me to first?
Yeah, questions if there's time.
Yeah, we've got time for a couple of questions. If anyone got a question? Yeah? Oh, here we go.
Yes.
This is going to be good.
3 questions.
I know this one.
Oh, I'm French, sorry. I don't have any question. I just say thank you very much for your presentation. It's just amazing. I'm just a junior designer and I really love your stuff. And thank you.
Ah, thank you so much. See, there you go. That's some love right there. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Do we have a question out there?
Questions? Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, there's one way in the back.
It's going to be at the back, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to leave this on. That's right. Oh, okay, we'll put it on this one then.
Yeah, it was a great
There we
presentation.
go.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, sorry.
You've done a lot of collaborations with people. I'm presuming there was kind of little sort of financial remuneration for the people, so they were doing it it was their passion project as well.
Yeah.
So, for an example, some of your earlier films,
Yeah.
did you kind of reach out to them via social media, or was it work colleagues, or did you track them down because you were a fan of the work? What was the score there to sort of make those guys your friends?
I'm having a hard time hearing you. What was the question?
Yeah, basically all the guys you collaborated with.
Yep.
How did you approach them? Were they friends previously, or was it kind of like Field of Dreams stuff? You start a project and they just got involved kind of by osmosis because they like your work? How did that, was it a mutual appreciation society kind of thing?
Yeah, so you're talking about like collaborators and working with them and the finances and that stuff, yeah? Yeah, I mean, when I work with anybody, if it's a passion project, up front from the get-go, I say, hey, this is a passion project, there's no money involved. If anybody's spending money, it'd be me, and if you want to be a part of it, you can. If you don't, that's totally fine. I've had so many people say no, and I had people say yeah, and so when they say yeah, then I say, okay, we're going to do this, and I go, how busy are you? And they're like, oh, I want to do this, let's do this shot together, and we kind of work through it. So it's more of a very abstract, kind of I'm friends basically helping one another. If they need help, I help them with their projects. It's like a vice versa kind of thing. So it's kind of a nebulous thing, and so with the Ghost in the Shell, there was no money that came from it, I was very specific. People wanted to buy posters, but since I didn't have the rights to the IP, I said no, and that could have been a decent amount of money to come back and pay everybody, but everybody that I worked with was in it for the passion, and they wanted to do the project because they were passionate about doing something proper for something that they liked, so hopefully I answered it. I'm just very clear from the get-go, so yeah.
Okay, we've got time for one more question.
Yeah. No more questions.
No more questions. All right, one last round of applause for Ash, please.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Okay, we're just going to have a short break while we pour you good lovely people some beer, and then we'll have the panel discussion. And then the party.